Fanatics. Oh, welcome back, everyone. We are on 28. So my 28th ranked team. I think a lot of people just dismiss them. I'm actually kind of interested in this team, and this team is the Houston Texans. And it's they kind of built themselves. So obviously, I'm a Panthers fan. Everybody's probably watching this and knows this by now. They kind of built themselves a little like the Panthers in a way. Like they got a rookie quarterback in Stroud, and you have uh, a vet receiver in Robert Woods, 31. Adam Thielen's 32. And then you have kind of like a guy that may kind of break out a little bit, but we're still waiting to see, and like Nico Collins, and that's kind of like my TMJ. And then Mechie is like we don't really know yet because he's basically a rookie. I mean, he was hurt last year, or was he? He was hurt or sickness or something like that. But that's our Mingo. So the only thing that they don't really have is like our and then Schultz is kind of like Hurts. I mean, like a reliable tight end. Pretty decent O line. They have Damian Pierce and Singletary. We have Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard. I mean, I like our guys better as a whole, but it's kind of built the same kind of way for the rookie quarterback. And then even the defense. I mean, they got Sheldon Rankins. We got Derek Brown. They got Perriman, who used to be a Panther, but we have Shaq Thompson. They have Will Anderson. I mean, he's a rookie, but I mean, we have. I mean, I don't want to compare Will Anderson to Brian Burns, but you know what I'm saying. Like it's they have Stingley. We have J.C. Horn. It's very much. They could definitely be the Panthers, but a year away or a year or two away. So I think that's why I'm like pretty interested in them. I I just don't know. I mean, the biggest difference is that the Panthers have vet coaches. They have Frank Reich, who's won a Super Bowl. They have Jim Caldwell, who's won a Super Bowl. They have Giro Evero. Final answer. Who he's been a defensive coordinator for a while. They have like Deuce Staley. They have Thomas Brown's in the league for a little bit. I mean, I know it's his like first OC job, but they've got guys that have been in the league for a while. And then we have this team is sort of like Saleh. Like it's the defensive coordinator for the Niners, and took guys with them who are also in the Niners, and kind of see what happens. But like nobody really has a ton of experience, so they're gonna really rely, and that's why. And the Jets, like Mosley was really big, like a big person for them, like a big. They needed a guy like that. So they kind of have Perriman and Rankins that have kind of like leaders in the locker room. Robert Woods has been around for a little bit, which is kind of like Corey Davis was for the Jets. So it's interesting, right? Because the Panthers, I think, are on the come up, and I think the Jets are on the come up, right? So I like the Texans in a sense. I think they're just kind of not as talented as those teams. I think they're built similar, but not quite as talented. What's really good for them is that they are playing in a not so great division. I think that in most people's eyes, not a great division. I think the Titans are going to be very good this year. I thought they got crushed by injuries last year. I think the Jags are going to be pretty good this year. I don't think that they're going to like crush the world like everybody else does. I think they have some holes. But I think the division as a whole is. I mean, I think the Colts are going to be pretty bad. Obviously, we've already spoken about the Colts. But yeah, let me just go through the record and let's just dissect it a little bit. So at Dallas, I think Dallas is the um, uh, best team in the league. So I got it's a loss, a win at home against Indy, a loss at Jags, a loss at home to Pittsburgh, a loss at Atlanta, a win at home against New Orleans. If you listen to 29, New Orleans can't stop a nosebleed uh, running the ball. They don't have anybody. They don't have anybody to stop them. They lost all their guys for Derek Carr. So I think they beat New Orleans at home. They go on the road to Carolina the next week, and that's a loss. They're at home against Tampa. I think that's a loss, but I'm not certain. Tampa has always been good at stopping the run. And, when people talk, listen, they have Pierce and they got Singletary. It's not like they got Pierce. They had Pierce and went after Miles Sanders. Like they didn't go after like this heavy pass catching back. I mean, Singletary can catch passes, but it's they're going to run the football. It's every defensive minded coach wants to run the football. So they can stop the run, Tampa. So it's going to be like make Stroud beat you and let Stroud beat you with Carlton Davis and Winfield Jr. and having guys like Levante David and guys like that coming at you full speed, the rookie quarterback. So I don't think that they'll beat Tampa at home. They just got too many good players, even though the team as a whole is pretty crappy. Well, not crappy. I don't I think they blow it up, but I don't think they blow it up yet because it's still in the first half of the season. Then they go to the Bengals, which I have a loss. At home against Arizona, I think that's a win. At home against Jacksonville, I think that's a win. I think they're going to get a win somewhere in the division that nobody's expecting, and I think that's where it comes because I don't know who stops the run for Jacksonville. Um, and I think that Stingley and Griffin, Stingley is actually specifically he can. I think he can do well against Ridley, just the skill set. So I got that's just a home. Jacksonville loses at Houston because they're gonna steal one of those, I think. And then I got a loss at home to Denver, loss at Jets, loss at Tennessee, loss at home to Cleveland, lost Tennessee again, and lost at Indy, mostly because Indy's going to just need something. And it looks real bad if Indy's tanking for Caleb. They they made a commitment to their guy Richardson. I would be shocked if they go fourth pick in the draft and then try to tank for Caleb when you knew this was going to be a project quarterback. But it's Thursday. Who knows? I still only have them winning 2 games, but for Caleb Williams, they could get a ton for him, like a ton. Like Panthers gave a lot for Bryce. They could get a ton for Caleb Williams. Anyways, so that's 5-12. You know what the Panthers were 2 years ago? 5-12. It's kind of feels like that a little bit. These guys are just young, not ready. Will Anderson, I mean, he's probably built better than most for the NFL. I think everybody in the organization just knows it's going to be a little bit of a rebuild. Mechie's not going to be good right away. Nico Collins has to. They all have to like kind of build rapport with Stroud. Who knows? Stroud's a great ball. He's got great talent. I It's so hard for a new head coach and a new quarterback. I feel really good about Bryce because he has all these guys around him that have been coaching before, done this before. Like, I think that he's going to be okay because of that. Whereas, like, Demeco Ryans never been a head coach before. Slowick's never been an offensive coordinator before. He's a pass game coordinator. So I think they're going to go through. I think they're going to be like the Jets when they drafted Wilson. Like I think it's going to be very similar to that. It's these guys just don't know how to develop a quarterback, and that's just kind of how it is. I actually think that's a really really good comp, and I don't think they're expecting to be really good this year. That's why they traded up to get another rookie. They're looking for 3 years from now. They're looking for when Derrick Henry is not in the league anymore, um, and Trevor Lawrence has hit his extension, so they can't. So I think that's the plan. I think the plan is in 3 years. But I think they're going to be tough. I think they're going to be a tough out. They still got Tunsil. They signed Shaq Mason from the Bucks. Um, I think that the offensive line is going to be better than um, people think. Tunsil's top three left tackle in the league. Um, I think that Stroud's going to run a lot. I think he's going to be like a little bit like Justin Fields, light. Like he's not going to be Justin Fields, but I think he's going to be Justin Fields light. I think they're going to be. I think they're going to be kind of fun to watch. Um, I think they're going to be fun. I just don't think they're going to win any games. They're just not good enough yet. I mean, they're just young. They're the Panthers 2 years ago. I mean, they're literally like. I mean, Stingley was J.C. Horn and. Um, Rankins is Derek. Yeah, I mean Rankins is bad. I don't know. It's bad comp, but I don't have a lot. If we're looking at just this year for power rankings purposes, they're 28th. They're not good. They're not a good team. They're not going to win a lot of games, but they're going to win some games. They're going to be fun to watch. Uh, uh, if you have a dynasty, Mechie's like really good person to have in dynasty. Uh, Schultz is on a 1 year deal. I think he's gonna try to play really well. I think they're gonna be fun. I really do. I think that they are probably 2 years away from being something if CJ Stroud works out, and that's the biggest fear. They're gonna really, from what we hear as fans, it feels like he can't pick up the playbook, or he doesn't process. So they're gonna have to oversimplify, which doesn't work great in a 49ers offense, even though Brock Purdy stepped in and did pretty well. But look at Trey Lance. Like it, we'll see. We'll see. I think it's gonna be growing pains. I think that they lose a lot of games. I think that they surprise some people, and I think they're fun. Yeah, 2 years ago, the Panthers almost beat the Chiefs. So, you know, it's I think they're gonna be fun. I like what they're doing, but they just I mean, think about this: is Damian Pierce is what the 15th best running back in the league. Uh, their receiving core is bottom three. Schultz is getting older and maybe top 10 now. I mean, he had a really good rapport with Dak, but I mean that offense just like overall isn't good. The offensive line is mediocre. I mean, better than people think, but mediocre. So I mean, we'll see. I think they're going to be a lot like the Jets were when they drafted Zach Wilson. I mean, very very similar. Second overall pick. I think Bryce is going to be Trevor Lawrence as far as like he's going to be the guy, and poor Zach Wilson and CJ Stroud, they're just not. So that's kind of like I'm trying to think of like something super interesting that I can think of. But yeah, I love what they did in this defense. This defense looks really good. If Will Anderson, and I think that he's the most ready. I mean, you got Griffin and Stingley. You got Perriman, who was a Pro Bowler 2 years ago. You got Rankins, which is a good signing. To be that, I mean, he can basically just stop to run by himself. Um, yeah, I like that defense a lot. That offense is just not very good. But nobody thought that the Niners offense was very good when Jimmy G stepped in because it was a bunch of no names like Marquise Goodwin and Jimmy Garoppolo and Raheem Mostert, and it's like just guys that we never heard of, and like they did well. So maybe that's what they're banking on. It's coming from a Shanahan tree. They're gonna run the ball. Shanahan likes to run the ball. It just they're gonna be in games. That's all I can say. I I wish I was more excited about doing the Texans as I was about the Saints, because the Saints was really fun. It's really fun to tell people that the Saints are bad. But I think that the Saints are trending down, and I think the Texans are trending up. I think that they built their team pretty. It's pretty fun. I mean, it's fun. And I think they'll go 5-12, and I think their fan base will be really encouraged by what they see on the field. I think they'll lose some close games because they're too young and they just haven't been there before. But I think there's some young talent on the team. If you just look at it and you say, look at my quarterback is a rookie, my best receiver is a rookie, my best pass rusher is a rookie. Stingley is second year. Rankins is he just hit his second contract, I believe. They got some young, good dudes. And Nico Collins ain't old. Pierce is in his second year. Like this team's gonna be good. I feel like I've just basically said the same thing over and over again for like 3 minutes now, so I don't want to waste any more of your time. But this is the fun 28. Fun 28. Everybody else was like, so I think 32 through 30 was like, oh, like I don't. Well, 32 through 31 was like, I just don't even know what to say about this team. They're just so crappy. They just literally want to lose. 30 was the Raiders, and that's like I don't know. Like maybe like who knows? 29 was like dumpster fire. Saints aren't good. Saints aren't good, and it's so funny that people think they're going to be good. There's nothing about them that's any good except for maybe Chris Olave and I think Lattimore's gonna be 28, so he probably has a few years left. But that's about it. And then I like this team. I literally like this team a lot. They could become, and everybody thinks the Jets are gonna be really good this year. So they're Jets 2 years ago. So we'll see. I like it. I like it. I like what they're doing. And they'll be fun to watch. But that's about all I got on them. Like, there's not really a lot to say. They're not going to be competitive. They're just fun. They're fun. I like them. Yeah, that's it. That's number 28 for me. I appreciate you listening. 27 tomorrow. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. 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 Bye.